Hey there, and welcome to Master English Podcast, the show where we make learning English simple, fun, and practical. I'm a member of Master English Podcast group, and today we're diving into one of the most important parts of any conversation, greetings and introductions. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time, starting a casual chat, or greeting someone formally, knowing the right phrases can make a great first impression. So, if you've ever wondered how to confidently say hello, introduce yourself, and start conversations like a natural, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm Sophia, and I'm super excited because today we're going to dive into a topic that's essential for anyone learning English: greetings and introductions. These are the first things you'll use when meeting someone, and knowing how to do it right can really help you make a good impression.
That's right, Sophia. I'm Liam, and I'm thrilled to be here too. A lot of learners might feel like greetings and introductions are simple, but when you break it down, there's actually a lot to learn. Especially since English greetings can vary depending on the situation, the time of day, and even the country you're in.
Exactly. In fact, you might hear different ways of greeting someone depending on where you are. For example, the classic hello is super common, but in some parts of the world, people might prefer saying hi, hey, or even howdy. And that's just the beginning. So Liam, let's start with the most basic ones: hello and hi. What do you think?
Well, hello is definitely the most formal greeting in English. You'll hear it used in a variety of settings, and it's appropriate whether you're meeting someone for the first time or just passing by someone. But hi is a bit more casual, right? It's what you would use with friends, family, or people you already know. You wouldn't use hi in a super formal situation, like a job interview, unless you already know the person.
That's a great point. And another important distinction here is when you use these greetings. Hello can be used at any time of the day, but when it comes to hi, it's more of a general greeting for informal situations. For example, you wouldn't really walk into a formal business meeting and say, "Hey everyone." It just wouldn't sound right.
Exactly, and sometimes people like to get a little more creative with their greetings. I've heard people say, "What's up?" or "How's it going?" which is very casual but also pretty common, especially among younger people or friends. What do you think, Sophia? Would you say "What's up" in a formal setting?
Definitely not. What's up is one of those greetings that's reserved for close friends or people you already have a comfortable relationship with. It's informal, almost like saying, "How are you?" but without asking directly. It's just a quick way to check in. You could also hear, "How's it going?" which is kind of the same thing. It's casual, and you're just acknowledging someone in a relaxed way.
Right? And here's something important. Even though it's informal, you're still expected to answer. So if someone says "What's up?" or "How's it going?", the normal response would be something like, "Good, how about you?" or "Not much, just hanging out." You wouldn't just say "What's up?" back. That would confuse the other person.
Exactly. And then we have hey as a greeting, which is even more casual. Hey is one of those greetings that works for friends, people you know well, or even when you're just greeting someone you're comfortable with. You might even hear people greet each other with yo, which is super laid back, and you'll probably hear it mostly among younger people.
Now, when it comes to introductions, things get a little different, don't they? So let's say you're meeting someone for the first time. You've probably heard the phrase, "Nice to meet you." It's a pretty standard, polite way of introducing yourself. But you might also hear, "Pleased to meet you," or "It's a pleasure to meet you." All of those are basically interchangeable, but "nice to meet you" is probably the most common.
Right? And when you're the one being introduced, a simple "nice to meet you too" or "the pleasure is mine" works perfectly. But here's a tip. If you're in a slightly more formal setting, you might want to add a little more to it. Like, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Last Name." That shows respect, especially in professional or formal situations.
That's a great point, Sophia. And in business settings, there's also the option to say, "How do you do?" when meeting someone for the first time. This is a very formal way to greet someone and usually comes with a handshake. The response to "How do you do?" is typically to repeat the phrase back, "How do you do?" This one's not super common in casual settings, but it's something to keep in mind if you're ever in a very formal meeting or event.
Exactly. And then there are those greetings that vary by time of day. For instance, in the morning, it's pretty common to say good morning, and you can follow that up with a how are you, or how's your day going so far. As the day progresses, you can switch to good afternoon or good evening as you see fit. Good evening is typically used after around 5 or 6 p.m., but that can also depend on the country or even the region.
Yes, and then at night, the common greeting is good night. But here's something to note. You usually say good night when you're leaving, not necessarily when you're arriving. If you're leaving a party or a friend's house, good night is appropriate. When you're arriving somewhere, you'd usually just say hello or hi instead.
That's a great distinction. And let's talk a bit about body language when it comes to greetings and introductions. Even in English, body language plays a big role in how we communicate. For example, when you say, nice to meet you, a handshake is pretty common in formal situations. But in some cultures, a handshake might be more or less firm, and in others, a bow or a hug might be the preferred form of greeting.
Absolutely. And with hi or hey, you might see more casual gestures, like a wave or a fist bump. It really depends on the relationship between the people involved. For example, you wouldn't hug someone you've just met for the first time unless you're in a very specific cultural context. But as the relationship builds, you might find yourself using more physical greetings, like a hug or even a kiss on the cheek, depending on where you are.
Right, and the distance you stand from someone also matters. In some cultures, standing very close to someone when greeting them might be fine, while in others, it could be seen as too forward. In English-speaking countries, people generally like a little personal space, but it's still common to see a handshake or even a quick hug if you're good friends or family.
Exactly. And let's not forget the importance of tone and facial expressions when you greet someone. Even if you're saying hi or hello, your tone of voice can make a huge difference in how your greeting is received. For example, if you say hi in a flat tone, it might sound like you're not really interested or excited to see the person. But if you say it with enthusiasm, you're showing warmth and energy.
And the same goes for your facial expression. A smile is incredibly important when meeting someone. A warm smile can make someone feel instantly comfortable, whereas a lack of expression might make the greeting feel cold. So, if you want to make a great first impression, make sure to smile and keep your tone friendly.
And don't forget that in more formal introductions, it's not just about how you say nice to meet you, but also about your posture. Standing up straight, making eye contact, and having an open body posture can help you come across as confident and respectful. It's those little details that can make all the difference.
You're absolutely right, Liam. So let's go over some more examples of common greetings and how to use them. If you're meeting someone at a social event, like a party or a casual get-together, you might say something like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or, "Hey, what's up?" You can follow up with something like, "It's good to see you," or "How have you been?"
And in those situations, you can get a little more personal. For example, how's life? Or, what have you been up to lately? These kinds of questions work well when you're meeting people you haven't seen in a while. But remember, don't ask anything too personal unless you're really comfortable with the person. Stay light and friendly in the beginning.
Right. And for casual introductions, you can also use a phrase like, "I don't think we've met before," or "I'm Sophia, by the way," which is a great way to lead into your introduction. For example, if you're at a gathering and you don't know someone, you could say, "Hi, I'm Sophia. I don't think we've met before. How are you?"
Exactly. And if you're in a more formal setting, you might want to add a little more information, like your job title or where you're from. "Hi, my name's Liam, and I'm a marketing manager at XYZ company. It's nice to meet you." That's a little more professional, but still polite and friendly.
So many great tips today, Liam. I think we've covered just about everything people need to know about greetings and introductions in English. Whether you're meeting someone casually or in a professional setting, knowing how to greet someone and introduce yourself confidently is such an important skill.
Definitely. And don't forget, The more you practice these greetings, the more natural they'll feel. Keep practicing with different variations depending on the situation, and soon enough, you'll be able to greet anyone with ease.
That's it for today's episode. We hope this conversation helped you feel more confident in your English greetings and introductions. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone. Keep practicing and keep learning. And there you have it. Now you're ready to greet, introduce yourself, and start conversations in English with confidence. Every great connection begins with a simple hello, so go out there and make yours count. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend, hit that subscribe button, and drop us a review. It means the world. Want more tips and tricks? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. Thanks for listening, stay curious, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and keep shining.